Dear Life Warriors, living and surviving are two different things.
If you are faithful to time, time will be faithful to you.
Because I don't understand, you said it would be the year of elevation, and here the world is in a pandemic, and it's horrific. It's something that we've never seen in history. Right. Throughout the world, all the world was suffering at the same time. Right. And that the unique part about it is that what we realized is that we had a choice in how we evolved.
Hello, everyone. It's your favorite corporate life coach, Shar. I am back for 2021, and I am bringing a few of my wonderful friends with me. Toni Lorraine.
Yes. How are you, man?
I am awesome. I'm so excited. What I'm doing, thank you so much for accepting this conversation today, because what I want to do and what I'm going to do is show people, just like people like yourself who has turned 2020 into something really positive, and great things has happened for you in 2020. And I want to talk about it. I want to hear all about it. But before we do that, how are you? How is everyone in your family? I know it was a COVID year. Do you have anyone that you know that possibly passed or might have been infected or affected by COVID?
Well, I know quite a few people have passed. One of my sons, as a matter of fact, two of my sons, got COVID, and, thank God they recovered. It was, touch and go. But at the end of the day, I am just grateful that we turned the corner, So but we still have to be vigilant because there's so many variants out there. Right. And so we still have to remain vigilant. I think a lot of people need to understand that as well.
Yeah. You look beautiful, by the way. I'm loving your glasses. I'm on the social media jealous. I knew you were going to come with your glasses game today, so I left mine off just so you could shine.
I can always change if you need me to.
I'm going to let you have it. So you look amazing. You really do. You're glowing. It looks like, I see your Dr. Brownie sign behind you, and that's what I really want to talk about. Yes. Thank you for sending me my tea.
You're more than welcome.
Oh, this is delicious with this little special stir. and the bun is all gone. The buns are gone. But you have so much more going on. You are like Miss HR turned now baker. And you know what? This is the stories that I love, because this is all about it. I feel like you might have found your purpose, and I want to talk about that. Tell me all about what happened in 2020 for you that brought you to Dr. Brownies.
So my story kind of starts in 2019. I was working for an Iron Chef as his HR manager earlier in 2019. And then I left that job, and there was a little hiatus. And when I finally took on the next position, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll take it. And here I am, the director of people and culture. And within 4 months, I actually left that job. And I was surprised myself, because I've never left a job under a year. And so God was like, hey, you're going to leave this job. And I'm like, hey, no, I'm making the money I want to make. And I was like, ha. And so in November, I left. And the month later, I called you and I said, 2020 is going to be the year of elevation.
Elevation.
Yes, elevation.
You called
and
it,
I believed it.
You claimed it as, elevation. I remember you started that whole Elevation 2020 from 2019, and then 2020 came, and we were like, is it really?
We were confused. Everyone was confused. I was confused, and I was like, Lord, let me just speed dial you, because I don't understand. You said it would be the year of elevation, and here the world is in a pandemic, and it's horrific. It's something that we've never seen in history. Throughout the world, all the world was suffering at the same time. Right. And that the unique part about it is that what we realized is that we had a choice in how we evolved in this horrific state. How do you choose to stay positive? Is that really a choice?
Yes.
And it's something that a lot of people, I think, struggle with, especially when you see your loved one literally dying in front of you.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, okay, Toni, so it was a year of elevation. We had to elevate our thoughts. We had to elevate our relationships. We had to elevate a lot. But the elevation of thought is the biggest thing the biggest gift you can give yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
You know, thoughts are very, very important. And I have to say, just watching your elevation, because quite honestly, we started out, even with myself, when you say elevate your thoughts, I started out feeling great about 2020 because I had a wonderful 2019. I started my business in 2018 full time. I left corporate America. I'm going around being, you know, this coach on a personal and a professional level. I'm doing those things. And then 2019 came and I was like, yay, things are starting to pick up. I'm feeling great about the business. And then 2020 hit and 50% of my, you know, organizational clients were like, I can't do this. So I had to change my thought process, number one. And instead of going into that somber mood, I literally was like, it's the year of preparation for me. It's time for me to prepare. I have time now to prepare for all the things, because I do have a list of ideas. I have a book of ideas because my mind goes haywire sometimes and I just have to write things down and leave it alone. And I said, let me look back through that book and see what can I be doing right now. And it's waking up and being intentional about time. And I was telling you and I had this conversation where I talked about my new phrase for time, which is, if you are faithful to time, time will be faithful to you.
I love that. Say it again for the people in the back.
The people that fell asleep.
I know, right?
I know. If you are faithful to time, time will be faithful to you. And
I love that.
Thank you. And that's how I started to operate each and every day in 2020, where I made sure when I got up, I made those intentional choices that you were talking about and actually sticking to it. You know, we could go in a mode of not today, tomorrow. Why am I doing this anyway? Nothing is happening. Look where we are. I was like, no, I literally got up every day in 2020 and did what I said I was set out to do for that day.
You know, I think that I want to speak to people like myself who, especially, you know, entrepreneurs. I tell people, you know, we entrepreneurs think differently, and people don't understand an entrepreneur's brain unless it translates into dollars and stock. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I struggle, like you said, you have this book of ideas, you know, so I know that as an entrepreneur, I struggle with articulating some of those things on paper, and you want, and you know, I want to do intentional things, and I am not the most organized person. However, what I did realize, like you said, you know, I have a choice, man.
You
and
said
that choice,
you said it.
yeah, like it's just like realizing that I can choose to be confused, or I can choose to take a plan and say, you know what, these are the things that I need to get accomplished. And I want people to understand that everybody's, you know, organization looks different.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And accepting your organization, what works for one don't work for everyone. Did you get to your bottom line? That's what's important. But speaking of bottom line, I want to talk about these brownies. So listen, I received my box. So you already elevated. The thing is, you already elevated that business, Dr. Brownies, because you started at the beginning of 2020 with brownies. Now I see buns, I see cinnamon rolls, and I see beef patties, vegan. I want that patty. I see vegan beef patties on the menu. Oh my goodness. So I want to talk about my box of brownies that I received. Because listen, everyone, order a sampler, just a sample. You have to get a brown box because I had about 10 to choose from. I think it was 8. It was 8 different, but my favorite is the banana walnut. And I liked it. I like both. I like it infused with the liquor. And I like it without. It's like the perfect combination. I know you do your own icing. The icing, I think, is what makes it special. Whatever it is, I go to bed dreaming about the banana walnut brownie. And then she does this amazing red velvet. Delicious red velvet brownie, and I think one of them even had, I think, a little chocolate in it, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure.
Oh, they're talking about the almond joy.
The almond joy coconut with coconut. Love coconut. That's perfect. And then you made a delicious pumpkin spice. The pumpkin spice, and I'm not a pumpkin spice girl, but this brownie was the perfect like mix. It wasn't too pumpkin-y,
wow,
if that's a word, and it wasn't too spice. So it was like perfect combination, whatever ingredients you have. And these are all vegan. They were plant-based, vegan, right? Vegan brownies.
Yeah, they were, so, I just did a thing and I told people, I said, Dr. Brownies came out of a challenge from my son, who in 2019, he decided to go plant-based. And so here we are. And as my friends and colleagues in England call it, the Panasonic panorama, because they don't call it the pandemic.
Right.
And he said, Mom, I really miss your brownies, but, you got eggs and butter and I can't eat those things anymore.
Me either. I can't.
And so it was a challenge for me to really start thinking about my own health, because I love sweets, because I've never seen anybody mad eating cake, man. So I was like, how can I do this? So it was an elevation of thought of really trying to go into a space that it was uncharted territory. And I was able to, talk to a few chef friends of mine and put some stuff together. And here we go. Like, especially like with a patty, right? A patty is usually made with like a beef fat.
So patty.
Yes, and the cocoa bread.
Listen, and the cocoa bread. I am DM you right now. As soon as we get off this conversation, I am setting my order in for the patties, man, because honestly, I love a good patty. I love a good crust. And if I could get it plant-based, patty, vegan, I am there. Like, send me the patties ASAP.
And I told you, there is no Golden Crust pulled out of Philadelphia a couple years back. And so the only thing here in Philadelphia that we can get is, if you go to like a Caribbean market and they have patties that they heat up in the warmer. I mean, they're good, but nothing beats freshly made, man. And so there isn't, a patty place here. And especially, I'll say the vegetarian options are usually whole wheat flour, right? And I'm not a fan of whole wheat flour, but all flour is wheat unless you're using different types of flour. And so my goal is to make this with a non-gluten flour. That's one of the goals,
Wow.
And hopefully I'm still testing it, but you see those layers, man, it's about, it's about the crust, man.
It is about the crust. Anybody who loves a good patty knows it's about the crust. Usually my daughter takes the crust off to save it for the end. Like, she's like, I'm saving the crust when I'm finished the patty. So she eats that separately. And then they even started to sell just the crust. That's how much it is just about the crust.
I know. When I come to New York, I always stop at Golden Crust.
Listen,
we don't have it here.
My mouth is drooling thinking about just biting into your patties. I can't. We're too far. But whatever. I am setting my order soon. I'm sipping on my tea. I am enjoying your journey, honestly. I really wanted to have this conversation, kick off this series with you, because I know you were someone that started with this elevation mentality for 2020. So I wanted to see how you manage those roads during, the months,
the hills and valleys,
and the storms, because I think it's important for people to see that there's some great positive things that came out of 2020. I'm watching the social media. Everyone is, calling 2020 that year. And it is, for a lot of people, a very sad year, but I think we have to learn as people and as human beings to look for the good and try to turn things around, especially to be in a good mental state of mind, it's how you perceive what you have gone through and what has happened to you, and how to recognize my book. I have to plug it. So my book, so bad, but it really did just come to me. The yellow weed, whereas, I recognize I wrote that in 2018 because it was teaching people how to recognize and embrace the process before your blessings. And you, my friend, have literally turned your 2020 into there's Dr. Brownies, and you have a whole new career. Oh my goodness.
But I have to be honest, I started out in the culinary field, and then I moved to HR. But the thing is that, God always had plans for me to be in this space, this culinary space. Because like I said, I've never seen anybody mad eating cake. And because of that, I knew that if I could give people something sweet, they would smile, right? Yes. And so even in HR, you want to be able to solve a problem. And so I think that, me leaving my job and having faith and following God wherever he wanted me to be, and Dr. Brownies has been an evolution, because, you and I thought I would have this business up, 6 months ago, and it didn't. And right. I'm like, I'm frustrated, and don't get it wrong. 2020 has been a challenging year for all of us, the whole right. world. However, how I chose to cry, lay down on the floor and scream and want to jump in traffic. I chose to say, okay, I'm going to give this feeling a time limit. And so when I gave it a time limit, it allowed me to work through those processes right. and move forward. Because I think a lot of us get stuck and say, because there's a whole bunch of things, this new app Clubhouse, and I've never seen so many coaches in my life in one particular place, and how to get unstuck. But I think really how to get unstuck is you got to sit with yourself.
Yes.
Sit with yourself.
I'm glad you said that, because people do not spend enough time with themselves. Honestly, you wake up, you run, you get dressed, you're in traffic, you're going to work, you're spending time with all these people at work, and you come back. And even now with a virtual world, you're still not making that effort. You still wake up and rush to do whatever it is that you have to do. And you spend all day in that world of work, from one virtual call to the next virtual call right. to the next. And then, your night ends. And I don't think that people are actually taking the time, because that was an important step for me in my journey of transformation, where I started to question myself a lot about everything I was feeling. You right. have to ask yourself, why do you feel this way? Where is this coming from? And having that root foundation understanding of where those emotions are actually coming from made the world a difference for me. It really did. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a very important stage where you could spend time with yourself and figure out if you actually like yourself or not. Do you like the person that you just
I think that it's really important for people to understand. So when you spend time with yourself, there's two things as far as how to move forward, right? Yeah. You can see a therapist, which I always recommend everybody see a therapist, right? That's one. And then once you start watch. So it's different. There's a difference between a therapist and a coach, right? Because first, when you see the therapist, you're working on those the mental part, right?
Yeah, very important.
And so now that you start to tap into self, you start to say, okay, these are my emotional triggers, and these are so I look at therapists for triggers, right? And now I'm beginning to understand that I need help in my business. Now I'm going to reach out to my coach. Now my coach is going to help direct me and say, okay, you're doing this, because a lot of people get confused between the difference between a coach and a therapist. And I think that a coach is not going to solve your internal problems. What they're going to do is help guide you. Like you've guided me throughout my journey with Dr. Brownies. Like I've called you many a nights. And then you said, I don't know what's going on. What do I have to do? And you're like, okay, let's reframe and let's think about it. And you'll listen. Yes, you'll reframe and say, I can. And then I start to reframe it in my mind. Yes, I can get these orders out. I can. And so I think it's really important that, I say that because for me, you have been a tremendous help and just, keeping me on the straight and narrow in my business.
Thank you.
And that's important. I think we have to have a tribe of people to elevate.
You do.
We do. So I thank you for being in my tribe, man.
No, thank you, because I feel like we when you're up, I feel like we go through this thing where you could talk me off the ledge, I talk you off the ledge. Sometimes we're on the same. We're like, yes, and then. It's like, what happened? But that's what life is. That's what life is, right? You have to laugh because it is part of life. Every time as you elevate, you could see it's a painful process because you are entering a new level. You have no idea what's on that level yet. So you haven't mastered your level yet. So when you first arrive to a new level, that's the pain you're experiencing, the pain of the unknown. You don't know.
One of the things you just said is making sure the elevation, it is difficult, when you're going into a new level. I think I was just experiencing that the other day. And I said, I am working hard, not smart.
Smart. You did say that. You did.
Yeah. And I felt like, but I realized after our conversation, it is the fear of the unknown.
Yes.
Right. I don't control how fast Dr. Brownies takes off. I don't control that. And that scares the hell out of me. Right. However, I need to go there to experience it, to do whatever, success, fail, whatever, to say I've actually accomplished something. And so I'm excited about it, but I'm also terrified at the same token. And I need people to realize that there's a gamut of emotion.
It is.
In this thing, even if you're a 9-to-5er, there's still a gamut of emotion. If you're taking a new job, you're taking on a new project, whatever that looks like for you.
Right.
There is always the next level. There's a lot of things you don't know. And so sit back, humble yourself, and stay grounded in your foundation, which my foundation is God. So,
Yes, it is. Well, with that being said, I'm going to stop here because I could talk to you all day. But I know you got orders to go fill. I know you have things to do for Dr. Brownies, but do know you have a sister rooting for you. I am absolutely proud to be in your tribe, to be a part of your journey, to watch your elevation, to go through the ups and the downs with you. Because if you didn't have people that support you, I don't think anyone would be here. I think that's the big thing that we forget, that support is so important. Sometimes people just want to hear, you're doing a good job.
Words are powerful.
Very powerful. And you are doing a good job. You are. I am amazed every day at you and your determination and your consistency and your persistence. I am very much so in awe of how many things you juggle and how you are when you say, I'm in the lab. I love when you say, I'm in the lab. And in the lab means she's baking people. And I am okay with that because I know something good is coming out of that lab. So, you keep up the amazing, amazing work. And if you had to just leave us with one thing that you are grateful for that came out of 2020, what is that one thing?
The closest, my relationship with God became closer. And I am truly thankful for that because he is my foundation. And once I began to embrace God and the journey that he has for me, things started to blossom in my life. Yeah. And I'm just thankful.
Well, amen to that. Amen to that. So I look forward to ordering my patties. I look forward to seeing the website up. The website is not ready yet, but it is coming soon. If you
Yes.
would like to order any of the delicious brownies, you are on Instagram. Your Instagram page is Dr.Brownies. Is there a dot?
It's drbrownies.official on Instagram. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Because that's where all the showcasing happens of every time she bakes something.
All my TikToks.
And your TikToks. And yeah, so definitely reach out to Miss give us the voice before you go. Signing off, Miss Toni Lorraine.
Thank you, guys. It is yours truly, Toni Lorraine. I am here with the fabulous Char Noel, the author of The Yellow Weed Man. Go grab that book because it will help you to embrace the blessing. Yes, embrace the time before the blessing. You will be blessed. So thank you, Coach Char. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you even more. You go on. You have a wonderful day. And don't forget, somebody's out here rooting for you. Always.
Thank you. All right. Have a great one.
All right. We'll talk.
All right. Bye-bye.